Number 3, write a proportion for each of the following figures and solve each proportion for x. Alright, so here we're given this information. EC equals 2, AE equals 10. We're not told what DB equals. We know this is x, that's what we're going to try and find. And then it says AB is 8. Alright, so we can use corollary to the side splitter here. So for that we need the distance of the entire lengths. And one of them we have is 8. The other one is 10 plus 2, 12. Why do we have to use that one? We have to use that one because we don't have the right information to use the regular side splitter, so we use the corollary. We would have to know what dB is in order to do that, or we would have to know what AD. So they didn't give us either of those. They gave us the whole distance instead. So we can use that. So we're trying to find AD, which means that we're going to have 10 over the entire distance, 12, equals x over the entire distance, which is 8. Alright, now how many times are we doing proportions in this particular lesson or chapter? 12x equals 80, so we divide by 12 and we get that x equals 12 goes into 80 6 times with 8 left over, which is 6 2/3. And that's that one. But the key here is to figure out how you have to do this one. We had to use the whole side lengths instead of the parts of the side here. So 10 and 2 we had to add together to make 12. And then the AE corresponds really to the AD part here. So we use that section. And then we use the whole length, 8, and the missing piece that we had to find. Alright, so you can see from the information here we had to use the corollary to the side splitter. Alright, and the next one. So, here we have to figure out what's corresponding. They told us that write a proportion for each of the following figures and solve each proportion for x. Alright, so we have similar triangles here. We're given these equal ones, and we got vertical angles here. And, so anyway, now we have to figure out what goes with what. Alright, so dB and AC go together, so we can put 4 over 9. And in setting this up, I've chosen to set up corresponding sides. So now I take the other known side from the small triangle, which is 5, and it corresponds to the other knowns, or the unknown side that we're trying to find, which is x. How do you make that decision? Well, look at this side length. It's included between the two angles that I've got here. So on the other triangle I need the side length that is included between the two angles that I've marked equal. Alright, so now it's just a matter of solving this proportion. So we have 4 times x equals 9 times 5, which is 4x equals 45. Dividing by 4, we get x equals 11.25. And that's that one. So here we had similar triangles and we figured it out that way. Common mistake that's made on this one is that people always want to set it up this way. They want to do 9 over 1 equals x over x, and they can't figure out why that's wrong. It's because they're not corresponding sides. This is the long side of this triangle, or this rectangle here. So it corresponds to the long side of the other one, even though it's been tipped up 90 degrees different. So that's the thing that confuses people. So rather than doing this, you want to do this. 9 over x equals, this one then corresponds to the 1 x over 1. Cross multiply. X squared equals 9. Remember how you undo squaring? Square root. So x equals 3. Alright, a big part of the key here is to get your proportions set up correctly. So the first thing we had to do is what I told you about right away, was getting the corresponding sides matched up correctly. And then the second thing was to set up the proportion correctly. So I put 9 over x, so that means I've made a decision. I'm matching the corresponding sides, and I'm going to put the larger figure in my numerator and the smaller figure in my denominator. So I have to maintain that relationship in the second fraction. So I have the corresponding sides, x and 1, and I put the side length from the larger figure in the numerator, just as I did in the first fraction. And then it works out. Okay, so that's it for this one. See you on the next one.